and Melinda Love, who are known as the founder and foundress of Earthwaking Village. They're also the power couple of the New Earth. Hello there.
I like that. That's cool.
All right.
Hi, Barbie.
Hi there. Thank you guys so much for being here and for having me here. I feel both privileged and honored to be here with both of you. Just kind of a rare treat to see both of you in one place. And I'm especially excited to talk to Mel and John, of course. But
Okay.
yeah.
Well, thank you, Barbie.
So-
It's our pleasure to have this time with you too and connect with you.
Thank you. My first question is for Mel, and we know you're presently in Costa Rica, and you're doing all the work to build the first physical Earthwaking village. And John, in previous,
I like how you said I'm doing all the work.
Well, that's right, isn't it?
I like this interview already. This is fun.
It's going the right way. So John has shared the story about that journey that you both took, and it took a leap from your previous world into actually making it happen. And I heard that it was you who kind of gathered the people and pushed to do it now. And so what I'd like is your take on what exactly it was you envisioned, what you saw in your mind in that moment that created that real powerful energy to make you step up and say, no, now, we need to do it now.
Well, first of all, I want to say that it's taken a lot of allowing for us to get here. Not really a lot of like making anything happen, just a lot of allowing, a lot of shedding, a lot of surrendering. And so to go back, what was it? Yeah, it just, it because at the time before we started our journey down to Costa Rica, about, I don't even know how long it's been now, maybe 9 months.
Are you talking about the first time?
No. Oh, I'm talking about now.
Okay.
This journey now. Right. That's where we started.
Well,
right?
she was talking about the original, because you were the one that said, hey, now's the time, whenever we were in Austin, and you gathered the little group on the messenger.
Yeah, I'm trying to think back the timeline. It's all blurred together, but I remember there was this like really intense knowing, and we were driving. But what I was saying was that at the time, Earthwaking University was front and foremost. That was our main focus, our main objective, the thing that we had been working on for a couple of years now, and really getting that off the ground. And it was, thriving, and we were in this new city. It was so beautiful. But then we went on a trip down to South Texas for an event. And on the way back,
Awaken Your Destiny.
Yeah, that was fun. Yeah.
It was cool.
McAllen, Texas. And on the way back though, I don't even know exactly, but it's like, it was like so strong. It was like a knowing inside me. And it was like, the village is now, the village is now. And it's hard to really explain, but I know that it was God, because when it's very strong like that, it just takes me out of my logical mind. It's not, because later I could think about it and think, well, this doesn't make any sense, but it's like, I don't even have that opportunity to think anything out or think anything through. It's just this intense knowing that overwhelms me. And so, we get back. I actually, on the drive, I created a Facebook Messenger group with who I felt like would be the core team that would really be on board with, like, getting the villages going. And so I put this team together, on the messenger, and I'm sure everybody thought that I was just crazy. And so we get back to Austin.
Nobody seemed interested.
Nobody's really messaging me back,
okay.
or like, yeah, no.
Yeah, that's a great idea. There was not a single, yeah, that's a great idea.
But I didn't care, it just was like, and it wouldn't go away. It wouldn't stop. And so it was very, what's the word? Persistent. And so we get back to Austin, and we're still in our thing, and we're doing our events, and people are coming to the house, and well,
it was only a couple of days later is when the whole world got shut down by COVID.
Yeah, things started getting really crazy. And so I remember it was a spiritual capitalist night, and you weren't there. You went to something else, and I felt like I was supposed to stay. I didn't go with you. And we always go to our events and things together, but you went with a couple other people, and I decided to stay. And I went to two of our, I went to Jay and I went to Kirk, and I was like, hey, listen, we gotta build the villages. I don't even know what I really said, but it was just like and I'm sure my energy was just like the villages, and, and so it was very ungrounded, and it's hard to hear that. It's hard to listen and receive that energy when it's not grounded like that. So I've learned actually a superpower, and that is to take that chaotic energy and really allow it to be channeled and to be focused, and so that it can be received and heard for the highest good. So yeah,
because that was the feminine energy. The feminine energy is like the electricity, the masculine is the light bulb, the feminine energy is the water, the masculine is the canal. So
totally. So I was shocking people.
So it's either just shocking everybody or just getting them all wet. She didn't know how to channel it at first.
Right. So that's how it started.
Yeah, but they didn't. Nobody was listening to her at all.
And the villages, though, that idea, and I don't know if that was going to be one of your questions, but this isn't a new thing. This isn't just a year ago thing. I mean, this has been, we've been preparing for this separately and now togetherly. I like that.
Yeah, that's actually kind of like how when we first came together. I was like, so what's your purpose? What's your vision? Or she's like, well, I don't know. I don't really have a purpose. Like you don't have like a vision, you don't have anything that you're working toward. And she's like, well, if you had a magic wand, what would it be like? And
I actually went to Awaken Your Destiny.
Yeah. And then she starts telling the story, well, I've had this vision of like these people, like we're all together, like doing bonfires and drum circles and little kids playing around. I'm like a village? And she's like, yeah, village. I'm like, well, that's where I'm going. That's my vision too. So that's kind of like, that was the thing that we were actually both walking towards that brought us together, and we just didn't know it.
That's all so beautiful. That feminine energy where it's just like,
yeah,
where you were just so focused. It was like the monster took over and you were going to get that, you were going to make it happen. But I think that's beautiful. And that intense knowing, that's what you said. You had an intense knowing, and that just kind of transitioned into that amazing energy. And here you guys are. I mean, look what happened. And that kind of rolls into my next question. And it's really for both of you. I had it for John, but I wouldn't mind hearing both your takes on this. I'm a visual learner. And if somebody paints a picture for me, that's really when I understand the best. And the village, can you paint a picture for me, with your words, of the village down there, not how it is, but how you see it taking shape? Describe to me what it's going to become. So it's still, I know you still have the vision. It may have evolved, I don't know, but how do you see it happening now? And imagine that you're talking, or you're writing the travel brochure.
Well, you can go. I'm gonna go grab. I've got a journal where I actually drew the village. Like it, just like this just came out one day. I was driving across the country, and all of a sudden my hand, like, opened up my journal. My hand just started doing something while I was driving. I'm like, what is that? And then I was drawing out a village. So kind of, it was the first iteration of the village, but it's not really exact, but I'll show you that. So while Mel can kind of share, she's more of the visual kind of thing of around the village. She's a village visionary, and I'm just kind of more of like how it works kind of stuff.
I'm already tearing up because I'm already like, I can already see the it is so beautiful. And so the village, and I want to start too. It starts with, so many years ago, I just kept seeing these little in my old life, right? A few years ago. And that's when I was still like, I was in a 17-year marriage. I was in a 14-year career, and I was in that rat race. But then when I would stop for a moment and allow myself, I would see, I would daydream, and these little images would pop up, and it would be like John said, like drum circles, or it would be, like people just all sitting, together on a couch, like on the armrest, and appropriately, just people would come over and like help themselves in the cabinets. And we did life together. We learned together, we grew together, we were, sharing and receiving of our wisdom, and, we raised our families together and our children together. And it just felt very much like, yeah, that's the way it's supposed to be. That's the way it's supposed to be. And women gathering, and so it was so beautiful. But so then But and it's interesting because the more I said yes to those little visions, to those little daydreams, the more I said yes, it's like the more of the bigger vision was revealed. And it's not my vision, it's not John's vision. It is the vision. I believe it is the vision, and I get to awaken to my piece of it. So my piece of it is just this, and I know it's here now, and we're going to manifest it any moment, but it just is so beautiful in that, it's the space where people can just come and be. There's not any doing, it's just being. It's just, and what's so beautiful about it is that everybody who lives together in this community is committed to the same thing. They're surrendered to the same thing. They're going in the same direction. Together, we're constantly shedding, because we want love more than we want anything else. We want love more than we want anything that we want, right? We want God, love more than we want our,
anything this world
desires,
has to offer.
Anything this world has to offer, yes. And so it's just, and we do it on a small scale. We're doing it now with a group of people that we are in community with, but it's like we're all committed to just constantly shedding these layers of programming and social conditioning and everything that we're not, so that who we truly are has a space to thrive and to be and to connect the way that we're supposed to. Go ahead, you have your beautiful picture.
So, I mean, because there's like the villages, they're going to be all over the planet, and they're what the layout, I don't know what it's going to be on all the villages. They'll all be different. They'll have like a different energy, a different kind of feel to them, because the people are the village. But this was like the picture of that I drew, like the first one, like just kind of the layout, and it was called Dream Waking Village. But you can see it's right here. There's like the entrance coming in. This is like the road in, and this is the 5 levels. So level 1, level 2, level 3, level 4, level 5. So level 1 is like entertainment, level 2, and you like, so you kind of get filtered on your way in. And then Earthwaking University would be in the center of the village, and then these are actually 12 temples, like of different religions, because we're uniting religions as well. So I really love going to different, like, just different churches to really get to experience the people, the tradition, and the flavor of their what people have been thousands of years devoting their lives to. And so I like to have that experience around, so I could just I'll go into the Buddhist temple today. Okay, I'll go into the Hindu temple today. Okay, I'll go to the wherever I would go, and just really get the feel for it. And then there's like different like types of houses, and then like forests and trails and farms. Like this is just kind of a picture of just what I drew out. That's just like the first thing when I was driving, it just kind of happened. So breaking rules is punishable by love. So anyway, that's kind of like just how it came out. But then Jay is more of our architect kind of thing. Like we're at the the village that we're working on down here. Jay pulls out he's got a measuring tape everywhere he goes. He's like, oh, he's got his paper, and he's like, and busts out his measuring tape. He's like, okay, that's 18 feet right there, 27 feet, 32 times 7. And he's just
awesome.
writing it down, drawing it out. So that's not my my role of actually seeing how it all like looks.
What's been so cool though is because we've been saying yes constantly on this journey. So when you say yes, you're putting yourself on a new trajectory, right? And so everything that's meant for you finds you. So then a Jay pops up into our reality. Like, we're not the people that do the things that Jay does, right? So we manifested Jay into our reality, and it's totally his role, and he's so perfect at it.
Yeah, but so what I really like about the village is because I've invested over $500,000 in personal development, like just coaching programs and courses and live events, and on like pretty much all of them, it's just kind of I'd go through a program and I'd learn something, or I'd go to an event and it was like amazing, all these cool people, but then I got to go back out into the the dirty fish tank, and I'm just out there like, well, this kind of sucks. Like, why can't I just live in that world? Why can't I live in the world of love, because at these events, like everything's great, and then I got to go back out where everybody just, they're not growing, they're not serving, they're not contributing, they're just consuming, and it didn't feel too cool. So I wanted to be where we do an event, but our whole life is like that. Our whole life is like an Awakened Life Lab, where we're just living in love. So that's just that's what we got now, and like we have that now. Like our, we got whatever 10 people or something here right now that we've been with for a while, and it's just every day is Awaken Life Live. We're doing the breakthrough work every day, and we're like
that is true. That is a complete truth.
Yeah,
every single day we as a group are doing breakthroughs.
Yeah, and we're in love every day. It's like there's no oh God, I gotta go back to the real world. No, that's the fake world. We're in the real world now. Like
we built a life that we don't need a vacation from.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that
like Neverland.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was just gonna say that. Oh my gosh.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I was gonna say that it's a little like Disney in that they have one all over the world, a different one, and they're kind of they tweak them a little. It's still got the basic heart to it, but I could see that with these villages, and like one in Greece where you're carved into the rocks, and we go up to temple, up the white rock staircase, and we go up to temple there, or whatever it is, whatever united religion. And I've seen different ones. That's why I was asking for some details. I saw another through almost you mentioned trails and forest, and that has been coming to me, and it goes off to some lake or a beach or something, and but it all has the same heart, the same purpose. Everybody's there in love. And what you said about peeling the onion, that everyone who's gone down to Costa Rica has mentioned that you do the breakthroughs all the time, and you're constantly working on, hey, why is this happening? I mean, John, you had you've told of a couple of experiences where the computer just didn't want to work all of a sudden, or there was a traffic jam, and to have that sort of self-awareness for you to stop and say, wait, what am I doing to create these situations? That's pretty amazing. And that actually blew me away a little bit. And then you stop right there. And I guess that's one of the processes, not necessarily the breakthrough itself, but what would you tell me to do to bring that into my life? Like, where did you go from just going through life to being so self-aware that you could say, how am I creating this?
Yeah, well, I mean, how it started was, I used to be the guy that was like, all right, give me the 2x4. Come on, just knock it out of me. Like I wanted the 2x4 for some reason. I don't know. I thought I was cool or something because of it. I'm a badass because the 2x4. But there was a point where there was just the 2x4s with the spikes, and like I was like, okay, enough. I'm ready for the feather strokes. I'm ready to just I don't need it the hard way anymore. Yeah. So, but how I started to learn doing that was the moment. I mean, it's like the moment the knife goes in, like I start to feel the pain, and the moment I feel any sort of pain, like, oh, okay, my best friend just stole everything from me. Okay, that hurts. So that moment is the moment I start to celebrate. Okay, this is a great thing. This is really good. Now I don't know why it's really good yet, but I know it is, and I also know that I'm responsible for this. I created this, so how did I create it, and why did I create it? And so at first it was like the big things I would be paying attention to, but as the big things just started to go away because I didn't need them anymore. So it got to more so I got down to where it's just feather stroke. So now all I need is a feather stroke, and they're getting less and less feather strokes in my reality now than there was before. So it's almost like there's never any fruit in my garden that I don't like, just because I've cleaned it up, because the thoughts are the seeds, the results are the fruit. So I've just been, okay, cool, I don't like that fruit, let me find the seed inside of me and get rid of the seed. And I just kept doing that. But it's cool now, especially like the new people that will come in, like they're not used to it. Good, they'll just like something will come out because again, if you're not in peace, love, and joy, you're inside of a story, a lie, an illusion. So, oh, hey, look, that wasn't peace, love, and joy. They're just coming. They're like,
we should go grab our jar.
Yeah, and they're like, they're like kind of, uh-oh. And you're busted immediately. Like you're like, shit, that wasn't peace,
they're
love, and
really
joy.
calling me out.
So, but it's like not a big deal. Like
there's no judgment.
Yeah, because they're still thinking like, because they're used to being shamed and guilted and judged for like being bad or wrong or whatever. So they're like, oh no, here comes the punishment. But no, it's like, oh cool, let's find that. Let's see what that is. So and clean it out. So I'll go get our litter box.
Yeah. So that was the important piece, is taking the judgment out, because you can't help someone when you're judging them, And so now we can see, it's like, oh, yay, something's here for us. It's not a bad thing. It took a while for me personally to like stop judging these triggers when they would come up, and instead start embracing them. But if you think about it, it's like, it's this gift that you've had shoved away, packed away, hidden away from yourself for so long, like your whole life. And so now here it is. You have a safe, sacred space for it to come to the surface. You have a supportive group of people who want to help you transcend that. You got our jar.
Yeah.
Okay.
This is our litter box that we put on the dinner table. So it's called, so the game's called Dysfunction.
Oh, there's something
So
in there.
we put the fun in dysfunction. And it's actually a lot of fun. I mean, there's times we're like, oh shit, like this gets it's getting serious, because that when we're pulling that weed out, because it's pain. It's pain that's been packed in for 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 years, at sometimes, and like that, so, but we transcend it. It doesn't take very much time. It just a commitment, just saying yes, saying I don't need this anymore. I no longer need these problems in my life, because it's just releasing the addiction to problems. And God says the only thing I ask you sacrifice is your suffering. So cool, here's my suffering. Here it is, God. I'm going to give it up.
And then you see on the other side of that, wow,
oh gosh,
like the world is so much brighter. If you can literally go in that cave, go through the darkness, run to, the fear, and transcend it, because on the other side, you're so much bigger. The world is so much more beautiful. Our group, when we do this dysfunction game, every single time, whoever has a dysfunction, we're all experiencing it. So it's like they're our surrogate. We do the breakthrough, but we're all doing the breakthrough. We're all having the breakthrough. And then on the other side of that, we're so connected. We're so much more connected. I would love to see this on every table and every home and every family, because, and you get really, and doing it more often, you start releasing your judgment on when you do have that trigger, and you can just be in love more often, and you get really sensitive to it. So you get really sensitive to feeling anything other than the peace, love, and joy. And you're like, oh, I don't feel good right now. Like, I want to be done with this. And so instead of the normal used to be pack and stacking it away, now it's like, oh, I got something. Can you help me see this differently?
Yeah. It used to be weird to be happy. Like,
yeah,
am I happy right now?
Right.
Wow. But now it's like weird to have anything other than that. Like to have it, was that anxiety? Did I just feel some anxiety? Well, that's really strange. Let me find that before it finds me. So, but another part of it is like, if you're the one getting the breakthrough, and again, because we all find it inside of ourselves. The point of the game is like, this is our dysfunction. This is our shit in the litter box. So let's all find it inside of ourselves. And every single time, I mean, it's very rare that anybody at the table can't find that dysfunction inside of themselves. So we all do the work, but let's say you're the one that's the focal point, and we're going through it. And then at the end of it, you open your eyes and you see, your whole family there all just crying. They're like, normally what you would have got shamed for and like, booted for, like, denied for. Now all of a sudden you're putting it out there. You're like, okay, I bit the fruit, coughing up the fur ball. And you're like, instead of, showing what you saying it or whatever, then, and getting rejected by it, you throw it out there, and then you're like, then you open your eyes and it just, the arms wide open, and everybody just all crying like, oh my God, thank you so much. Thank you for,
There's been times when someone has, come to the table with their stuff they're dealing with. And I'm like, well, I'm not really going through this right now. I feel like I already did that one, right? And so, but then they go through their breakthrough, and there's somehow, your ego is so clever, it will hide it from you somehow. And so, it is this beautiful opportunity to see what your ego is hiding from you.
Oh my gosh. That jar, how do you actually,
dysfunction.
Yeah, who puts the dysfunction in there? Like, is it your own, or do people see it, write it about you, or
both? Yeah.
So we've made a commitment when we feel the trigger to at least get, and I think you may have a different take on this, but so my rules for the game are, so when you feel the trigger, you're like, okay, there it is. I feel triggered, right? So then you take your time. You have a commitment. So we may have said like an hour. So you have an hour to get to the point where you're ready to take responsibility for it. So when you're ready to take responsibility, I created this, and so you come to the table and and you may just have a bag of puzzle pieces, right? You're ready to take responsibility for it, but you can't see how you create it. You can't see what to do with it. It's still a mess, right? But you're ready to not be blaming or attacking somebody else. So you come to the table, you write it down, you put it in the jar. And then when we have our next meal together, we eat breakfast and dinner together. When we have our next meal, we gather and we're like, okay, here's what I got going on, and you can feel it, like you got your emotions and everything, but you're just at the place where you're ready to take responsibility for it.
But sometimes it's yours, or like if you see somebody else being dysfunctional, remember, love confronts dysfunction. So like to not confront it is, I mean, that's not very kind and compassionate to let somebody, because if somebody's dysfunctional, they're suffering, and just let them stay in that just so you don't, upset them for a moment. So you either upset them for just a moment or let them just suffer for the rest of their lives. Okay, cool. That was dysfunctional there. Then no judgment on it. It's dysfunctional. Do you want to remain dysfunctional? And so if you see somebody being dysfunctional, like and it's usually just like, okay, so-and-so was triggered whenever this happened. And that, that's pretty much all it takes. Like this, so-and-so was triggered. You put it in there. And so then we pull it out. Well, it looks like, so-and-so was triggered. Like, were you triggered? And they're like, no, I wasn't. Like, yeah, okay. Yes, you were triggered. Not, but I don't know that anybody's ever done that. They're always like, yeah, that's true. That's true. And
I wanted to throw an avocado at his head. Yes.
Yeah.
That's actually been said before.
Yeah, we got that. No, no, it's a mango.
Oh, a mango. I get it wrong every time. Yeah. So there's no elephants in the room.
Yeah.
No elephants in the room.
Yeah. So it's yours or somebody else's. And you just put it as soon as it comes up, like just write it down. You write your name or somebody else's name and stick it in the jar. And it's just the shit's in the jar and the litter box just waiting for dinner.
I love that. It's like you need street signs, dysfunction junction, and you can set up your jar there. And it's simultaneously scary and exciting.
Yeah. It works though, because everybody here, like we said, is committed to, I want love more than I want anything this world has to offer.
Yeah.
So
that's beautiful. That is so beautiful.
Well, who's it gonna be? It's coming out of the jar like we had two of them for Raj the other day. Like, oh, Raj, okay, and this was Raj as well.
It's kind of like a reverse Christmas.
Yeah.
It's more like Halloween.
Yeah, exactly.
Either you're the one getting the candy or like you don't know what you're gonna get when you open the door.
Did you say trick or treat?
Trick or treat.
Trick or treat.
Trick or treat.
I love that. Trick or treat.
But it's fun. I mean, it just cleans you right up, and like, so there's no, it doesn't just, because resistance breeds persistence. When you just let it go, then it's gone. And you don't have to keep, because it will come back. You think just because you don't deal with it, you're going to be fine. No, that thing, it'll come back, and it's going to come back worse. When you don't deal with a problem, what happens? It doesn't go away. It gets worse.
That's how the feather stroke turns into the 2x4.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've experienced some 2x4s, with spikes, et cetera. So, a slow learner, I would say. I've a very trained ego.
Yeah.
What I do love about this whole environment, first of all, it's virtual. We have never met, and yet I feel like I know both of you so well. And based on all the teachings in here, you actually know me better than you probably realize. And for me, it was Awaken Life Live was my first experience. And, my association with Earth Waking Now and everybody in that virtual village, it's similar in that we can speak now. If we get together for a group meeting or something, we can speak to each other. Someone will say something, I'll say, oh, that's your ego. And they accept it. And everyone's plucking the weeds, and we're all plucking the weeds. And, we wouldn't have done that 3 months ago. We would have been offended, and I don't like them on that call. I don't, I'm not going back there because, they're just too bossy or something like that. But I get it. I haven't gone as far as that jar. But
that's the next level for you, Barbie.
That's fun.
Yeah, that's the next level. I'm speaking of Awaken Life Live, I'm really excited to see how it's taking off and growing. It's evolving. It's always getting, to me, it seems bigger and better. And I visualize it going across the world, different languages. Like it seems like it. I know that you've started with other things, but it kind of seemed like that's what launched the village in a way. And I love what you say about the events. Invite your friends, invite your enemies, invite people you don't like very much. Can you tell me a little bit about the idea behind that?
About inviting the enemies? Yeah, well, hurt people hurt people. The ones who are hardest to love are the ones who need it the most. And all it is, they just got pain inside them. So if you want them to stop being an asshole down the street, then get them, in a place where they're going to get loved. And remember, love is confronting dysfunction. So now they might run away. They might show up and like, whoa, I ain't ready to deal with this yet. But at least they got a shot. At least they got a shot to have somebody that like cares about them enough to call them on their shit, because they've probably never been called on it. If somebody's an asshole, nobody ever calls it, because they're the villain in the triad. The hero, the victim, and the villain, they're the villain. And so that's how they actually get rewarded in a weird way. Like, they be an asshole and then somebody else just likes them anyway, and then they be more of an asshole and like, okay, see, I am worthy of love because I can be as much of an asshole as I want to be, and people still whatever. So they never got confronted on it. So yeah, that's definitely
so they've got to the place where they've believed I'm the asshole.
Yeah.
And they're trying to constantly convince you, no, that's me, I'm the asshole. So we actually take a stand for their highest self, and we see them for who they truly are. And we just remind them of who that is.
Yeah, that's not you. You're not. And so they bought the lie as a child or something. Somebody lied to them and said, you're worthless. And they're like, I'm worthless. So they bought the lie, and then they go around selling it to the world. Like, I'm worthless, I'm a piece of crap, and they try to get you to believe that they're a piece of crap. And then you buy the lie, so somebody needs to stop buying the lie. No, you're not a piece of crap. Your ego, that right there, that big illusion, that's crap. That's shit, right? Bullshit. That's your bullshit. And so let's get it out of you. And so you can be done with it. And so that's what it's going to take. That's what it's going to take to heal humanity. Like, so all this division, all the suffering, all this, just confronting dysfunction. That's it. Just confronting it and seeing it for what it is, which is nothing, but not like it's nothing to run away from. It's something, it's nothing, so we can run right through it. But that's the only way, is through it. The only way out is in.
And what birthed this virtual village wasn't necessarily Awaken Life Live, but I was on Facebook, and I made a post, and I was, calling out some dysfunction in the world. And it just, like, I don't know, it just blew up. Like, like the attacks came and they didn't stop. And so, and this post got shared into many groups within Facebook, and it just like took off like wildfire. And so next thing I know, I'm like kicked off Facebook.
Yeah. It was like every 3 seconds. It was
crazy. My phone was blowing vicious,
up. So angry, like telling her, like, just random people never met before, you need a deep throat chainsaw is what they said to her. Like, just things like that. Yeah. Just vicious.
Lots of people that had bought the lie that they're assholes, right?
Yeah.
Came out.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I was like, you know what, this is good. This is a fire, everything works for good. And so I was like, I can't just not be around my people. I can't just not be plugging in virtually. Like, that's not going to work. So I started looking around all these different platforms, and I found Mighty Networks, and I love Mighty Networks. So immediately I was like, we get to work, started building the village on Mighty Networks. And now we have this team who's really great at the using the platform, and it's just become this beautiful space where it's a full immersion place for people to really connect with each other. And I don't ever see any negativity on there. I think we've had just maybe a couple negativity moments, but it really is this this beautiful harbor where people can just come, and it's like it's really refreshing to be out of that world.
And there were 3 key pieces of the puzzle that actually built up to Awaken Life Live and the village. It was there's Awaken Your Destiny was like the main thing that we used to kind of lure. That was our fishing lure, to lure in. Like, I'd always say, okay, we're gonna do Awaken Your Destiny. I can't wait to see who my new best friends are, because that's what it is. I'm luring in my best friends. Like, anybody who would show up to an Awaken Your Destiny, something called Awaken Your Destiny, that's my people. So
hang out with them.
Your vibe attracts your tribe. So every time we do an event, I'm like, all right, we can't wait to see who my new best friends going to be. Who is our new friends? So it was that. And then from there, it would go into the Spiritual Capitalist Mastermind group. So that was like our, Awaken Your Destiny was like our cast net. And then Spiritual Capitalist Mastermind group was our pond. We catch the fish and then throw them in the pond. And then we all just hang out in the pond together. So that was Spiritual Capitalist. And then there's also the little Sunday morning church service that we did. and so that was like where we, just keep it connect even more.
Mhm.
But then at Spiritual Capitalist, that's where I started building the Awaken Life Live, because we were doing this, we had a physical building in Florida, Earthquake University, and I started creating these little. It was for Thursday night, the mastermind. I'm like, hey, let's talk about health this week. Let's talk about wealth this week. Let's talk about happiness this week, relationships and the spiritual connection. And I created a presentation for each one of those 5, and then just really started dialing it in. And we got all 5 of those. And then I was like, hey, let's do a one-day live event where we just put them all together and do it all in one day. So we did Awaken Life Live all in one day with those 5. And then we wound up turning it into a 3-day event, and brought in, more pieces to the puzzle, and just a whole full on 3 days when it was live in Austin. And then once we had to do it on Zoom, we put it back down to a 2-day event.
I can't wait. I can't wait for you to experience it live, Barbie.
Yeah. Oh, Awaken Life Live.
Me too. So much.
Good.
I was thinking about when you're talking about the dysfunction jar, and could you imagine governments having that philosophy, and you're at a House of Representatives meeting, and they've got the jar in the middle, and sir, I believe your ego's coming out.
It was clearly dysfunctional.
I think there's a dysfunction there.
I love you so hard. I'm going to call you out on this right now.
That's really the important part, because the dysfunction, like, it doesn't matter if you change the surface of what you're doing. If you change your actions but don't change the beliefs and the emotions underneath it, you're going to produce the same fruit. It's still the same result. So they're going to keep doing this, like, okay, well, we're going to do this now. Okay, we're going to do that now. And they keep changing all this stuff, all these rules and all the whatever, but it's still producing the same fruit, because they didn't confront the cause of the problem. They were just treating the symptom of the problem. So the dysfunction is the cause, and then what shows up is the symptom. So we got to stop treating symptoms and start treating the cause. So that's the only thing that would actually help, heal this crap. Yeah.
Well, so the next Awaken Life Live, I believe, is on April 17th and 18th coming up here. And I'm super excited about that. I've only been, a lot of times. And every time I learn something new. It's a different thing that comes at me, depending on where I'm at. So anyone out there who hasn't been to one needs to get to one. Speaking of
this
events,
one's going to be exciting too, because the visionaries are taking this one as their baby and I don't even know what they're doing with it. They're going to do something special with it, and it's going to be a next iteration. So who knows what we're going to get to experience
it's a surprise is what it is. Yeah. Can you talk to me a little bit about the Breakthrough Challenge that's coming up? I know that's coming up this week, and it's a new event. I'd love to hear about it.
He's been working so hard on it.
Yeah, I have. I'm excited. We're kind of relating it to like the brother of Awaken Life Live. So Awaken Life Live, that would be the sister, and Breakthrough Challenge would be the brother. And so they, with those two coming together, I just can't even imagine the kind of transformation we're going to be. But I've been working on it, just dialing it in, and I'm really excited about what we're going to see, just the miracles that are going to occur for people. But it's a 5-day challenge. There's homework each day. And so Awaken Life Live is around the 5 levels of consciousness. So is the Breakthrough Challenge, it's the 5 levels as well. Day 1, but we're going to go in order. At Awaken Life Live, we don't go in order, because we actually save level 1 for last, because that's the most dysfunctional. The people in level 1 are the most dysfunctional. So we got to before we go dialing that, we're peeling the onion, let's go a little, and they're like, all right, here you go. The super victim come out and we're like, hey, you're being a super victim. No judgment or anything. Just let you know. So, but in the Breakthrough Challenge, we're actually going to go in order: level 1, level 2, level 3, level 4, level 5, because there's a massive mistake that you make in each side of the levels that keeps you trapped in that state of conscious awareness. So we're going to transcend. We're going to end the trance of each of those mistakes. So level 1 that is disoriented, the trance, the mistake is caring what other people think. So we're going to transcend that. We're going to end the trance of caring what other people think, release ourselves from that bondage, so you can actually go into level 2, which level 2 is goal oriented. So you can actually set a goal. Once you stop caring what other people think, you can actually set a goal and really actually achieve it. But the trance inside of that is lack of clarity and focus. So we're going to end that trance so you can find the power from the clarity and focus. And then that will awaken you into level 3. Level 3 is journey oriented. The mistake or the trance inside level 3 is attachment to outcome. So we're going to end that trance, release that, and then that'll just awaken us into level 4. The mistake trance in level 4 is giving to get, because that's insanity. People just don't even get it, but giving to get is insanity, because if you're giving to get, that means you assume that you don't have. If you're trying to get, it means you assume you don't have, which is going to perpetuate. Remember, like that's the symptom is that you don't have. The cause is you don't believe that you have. And if you try to give so you can get something, you're just perpetuating the cause and going to get more of those symptoms. So we're going to release that. And then level 5 is soul oriented, and the mistake is trying versus allowing. So we're going to transcend in the trance of trying and just allow miracles to manifest around us. So it's going to be amazing.
That sounds amazing.
Everybody come on the breakthrough.earth. It's free. Just go opt in the breakthrough.earth. And it'll be leading right up into Awaken Life Live as well. They're both standalone. You can do Awaken Life Live all by itself, and your life will never be the same again. Or you can do the Breakthrough Challenge all by itself. Life will never be the same again. Or you can put them both together, and I don't even know what's going to happen then.
Yeah, that sounds amazing. I'll be at both of them.
All right.
I love how you, both of you, you're a proponent for allowing leaders to grow and grow up within this community. And Awaken Life Live brought most of those leaders in. So came in with lots of dysfunctions, and do they still have them now? Yeah, but they're looking for them and they're working on them, and everyone's doing it in love and with love and from love. They have attended various programs all within this village, and they've bloomed and I guess evolved, if you will. And now they're running some of your events, and they're running their own coaching programs. They've gone from being consumers where they're just attending the event to being creators now. I see the village, the virtual village, or real, but the one that I know is the virtual one, as a place where leaders can bring their individual talents, and it provides an opportunity for leaders to say, hey, I have an idea. And you all say, great, what is it? Instead of, go back to your cubicle and be quiet. So I feel excited to be part of this community, and I can't wait to see a village, the village, whichever one happens first. You guys have really provided some, a lot of love and a lot of opportunity. And I just wanted to thank you for that.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Well, we received that, Barbie, and the village is the people. And so if it weren't for the Barbies of the village, like what would we be? And as you were speaking and you were really seeing what we've done for, seeing people as leaders and really cultivating leaders in the community, and everything that you were saying, I was seeing that is what was done for me when I first found Earthwaking. And so it is such a beautiful journey, and I'm just so proud of everything that we've created together. So yeah.
And in the village, there's another aspect of it called the Tree of Life that it's unfolding right now, and that's going to be the real place for the visionaries to shine. Like they're all going to be fruit on the Tree of Life, and that's just a place where they get to really share their gifts. And so it's amazing. Everything is amazing, incredible, miraculous right now, and we're just getting growing.
And look how fast we're growing. Literally 1 year ago, we went virtual. We've grown all this in 1 year.
Yeah.
And all you hear around, I haven't looked at news in months, but I know that the general consensus, if you're standing in a supermarket, you overhear conversations, and it just seems to be all about how, the world will never be the same. And I'm like, yay!
Yay!
We're building a new thing.
Thank goodness it won't be the same. It just seems to me that people love, and I've heard you guys say it, people are addicted to problems, and that's just where they're at. And I'm sure that I've been there too, but just all of us, all of us. Right. Now, there's one thing that we haven't talked about, and Mel's sitting on it right now. You two are about to birth a brand new soul.
Yeah.
And I want to say congratulations, the first soul to be born in the village, or
Yeah.
heaven on Mother Earth home. So
Yeah.
soul coming home. We're so eager to meet him and watch him grow and see what happens to somebody who grows up and starts in a clean fish tank. I can't wait to see that.
I
Yeah.
can't either. Thank you. We're so excited. Yeah, he's like our little like science experiment.
Yeah,
kinda,
yeah. He's so supported, it's not just me and Mel, it's like the entire village, and not even just the entire village here. Like everybody here is like, he's got all the aunties, uncles.
It really
whatever.
does take a village,
But virtually as well. There's all the people like all over, all around virtually are like, yes, so it's he's got so much support. I've never seen, I don't believe there's ever been a person born on this planet with the level of support that he's got, coming right into.
It's so exciting. I got a diaper bag came in, and it was like a more masculine kind of diaper bag. And I was like, I brought it down to John. He was down here with our group. And so he gets the bag and he's like, look, Jay, look.
No, I said JB. I called Jay JB.
Oh, JB. He was like, look at our new bag.
look at our diaper bag, JB.
A new fashion statement for you.
Yeah. So.
And then I've got these beautiful Kantha wraps, it's like hand stitched recycled saris, just gorgeous fabrics from India. And so, but you use them to make a wrap, like a carrier for the baby. And so I got a couple of those, and as soon as they came in, I was so excited. And I ran down to the women that were here and I was like, look at our wraps, and I said, I hope that you'll feel comfortable, using them if you want to. And I have heard, different people saying, I can't wait to wrap them up and fill them up. And yeah, it's gonna be fun.
Everyone taking turns to wrap them up and carry them around.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what are some of the things you want to teach him that, well, I can imagine the answer, but things that are a result of that village, things that would be different to your own upbringing?
Wholeness.
Yeah, and actually, I don't think there's anything to teach him.
Right, yeah.
That's the thing. We're not. I don't think we're gonna really. We're just, other than just showing him how this world works, or the new world works. How to live in harmony with the land.
How to
and
be.
everything.
How to just be, and it's enough.
Which he already knows that. So I don't. I don't really know. There's much we have to teach him.
We're actually going to be doing all the learning.
Yeah, he's gonna be teaching us. So. That's really, I'm like, I can't wait to learn from you, buddy. I can't wait to see what you got for me. He's like my little guru.
Yeah. So in that, I do sometimes feel a little pressure and like, gosh, I hope I don't inadvertently, program something into him. Like, I just want him to just stay so perfect and pure and clean.
Well, I think if you did program anything, it could only be positive. He'll grow flowers instead of weeds, maybe.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. So one thing that I really enjoyed about all of this is taking the smallest nugget, that would be a gold nugget, from either Awaken Life Live.
I see what you did there.
I wanted to clarify for you. From either Awaken Life Live or anything. I mean, and
not that gold nuggets are the only valuable ones, by the way.
Versus brown nuggets, and we're not going there. So
no, we're not going there. Good nuggets, valuable nuggets. I've enjoyed taking just one of them. I take notes like this, of course, but just taking one little nugget and applying it to my life, and it's almost become a game for me. I like, for example, turning fear into faith. What would happen in my world if I did that? And so then I just started doing that. My whole world changes. Or am I coming from love? Just that one thing, and go about my business and talk to people. And I've noticed the most amazing things start coming back to me without my even asking.
Yeah.
And so, raising that vibration out there. And it's kind of fun to play with that. So Mel, if you were to think back to when you woke up, was there a particular nugget that you can think of that you played over and over that you can attribute to your transformation to coming here?
Well, the first nugget that I really had to got to incorporate into my life and use and learn was what would someone who loved themselves do? That was the very first one when I found, when I started on this journey with John. And it was really weird because it was always counter programming. It was always counter to my programming. And so I had it on the mirror. What would someone who loved themselves do? Yeah, so that was the first one.
Well, and all it takes is one, really, and it kind of starts that cascade or the avalanche, I guess. What about you, John?
Oh, I was going to say too, the other one was, relationships are effortless. The hard work is in us.
Mm-hmm.
So that was a challenging one for me. And it was the place where my ego was like using my relationship constantly. That was my go-to. Like I would use my relationship to make myself small. So yeah, those were my two.
Yeah.
I love all of them. There's so many.
Yeah, but what would someone who loves himself do was that's a trail that she got to follow for quite a while, because just asking that question, because you already know the answers inside of yourself. Well, what would that person do? And then just do what they would do. Mine was these three put together. This was the only thing that pulled me. Now, I don't know about way back when I started, but when I really was going through the darkness, it was everything happens for a reason, all things work for good, and every adversity carries with a seed of an equal or greater opportunity. So I would chant those phrases over, like a moment, something back when we can kind of end how we started, when you first asked me, how did I get to this place of like, whenever something's going on? Well, it all started by the moment that I felt anything that I didn't like. I felt any resistance happen, like resistance to what's going on in the world inside of me, that I somehow like, I don't like this. The moment I would normally trigger, I don't like this, everything happens for a reason. And I'd say it out loud. I don't say it out loud anymore. Yeah. So if she heard me say everything happens for a reason, then she knew that something bad, that appeared to be bad was showing up. So everything happens for a reason. I'd say that, and I'd say all things work for good. And then I'd say, and every adversity carries with the seed of an equal or greater opportunity. So then what would a sane person do? Now that it's, because it looks really, really bad. So if I was sane right now, what would I do? I would celebrate. So then I would celebrate. And then I didn't know what I was celebrating for, but I just knew that was the truth. And then doing that, that's what set me free from all my programming, so I could actually see the world, see the world as love, as it was, without my filter. So that's how I cleaned my filter.
I love that, what both of you just said. What that says to me, and I've had different ones, different nuggets. And what that says to me is, it does not matter. Like, let's just say you missed 10 minutes of Awaken Life Live or the breakthrough challenge, and you feel like you really missed something. Any one of those can start such a transformation in your life. So, I just feel blessed and grateful and thankful to get any one of those, and to actually take them and use them as a tool. I mean, that's a whole other step. And on that note, I think we need to wind it up now. I wanted to say how much I have loved talking to you two, and I can't wait to do it more and in person soon, someday.
Are you coming down to Costa Rica soon?
Well, yes, and maybe.
I'll take the yes.
Okay. All right. That's the way I like to work it too. But I want to thank you for just creating this world and allowing me to be part of it, and for taking your time today to talk to me.
All right. Well, you're welcome. And you created this world and allowed us to be part of it. Right?
We are good creators.
Yeah. Thank you for walking with us.
Thanks.
Thank you.
All right. We'll see you soon. You're amazing.
All right. Bye.
Thank you.